You decide you're going to build a new habit. You download a tracking app, follow the standard advice to reduce friction, and commit to reading for just 2 minutes a day. But by the second week, the app is silent, the book is on the nightstand, and the routine stalls out completely. When this happens, the immediate reflex is to blame yourself. You assume you lack discipline. You tell yourself you're lazy or that you simply don't have the willpower required to stick with a goal. The biological reality is much stranger. The reward circuitry inside your brain does not care when you begin a task. It only fires when you are almost done. That is why the common tactic of starting small often backfires. Flossing one tooth or doing 2 push-ups indefinitely leaves you perpetually at the beginning of a journey with no visible horizon. Your brain calculates the required effort against a distance that stretches into forever and determines the ratio is a terrible deal. Dropping a new habit in the first 2 weeks is not a weakness of character. It is a highly rational, mathematical calculation made by a brain that simply cannot see the finish line. In 1932, a psychologist at Yale named Clark Hull built a wired runway in his basement. He placed a rat at one end and food at the other, and measured its running speed down to the fraction of a second. Running the trial hundreds of times revealed a very specific pattern. The animals did not maintain a steady pace. As the physical distance between them and the food shrank, they accelerated dramatically. This chart shows the concept Hull developed, called the goal gradient hypothesis. It demonstrates that effort scales inversely with distance to the target. The curve stays relatively flat at first, but sharply steepens the closer you get to the end. That urge to push harder near the end of a project isn't an emotion or a burst of inspiration. The closing distance acts as a mechanical engine, literally pulling behavior forward. Decades later, researchers at Columbia Business School wanted to see if this same mechanism drove human behavior. They partnered with a local cafe running a buy 10, get 1 free punch card promotion to track real customers spending real money. The baseline data matched the basement runway perfectly. Customers bought coffee roughly 20% faster on average between their first stamp and their last stamp. Seeing the visible end literally drove the acceleration. Then researchers tested a second group. They handed these customers a 12-stamp card, but pre-printed 2 bonus stamps on it before giving it out. Both cards require exactly 10 purchases, meaning the actual work is identical. The Zero Start group finished in 15.6 days. The Head Start group finished in 12.7 days. This illusion of progress shaved off 3 full days. A 2024 study analyzing neural data reveals exactly why this happens. When your brain perceives it is close to a target, it drops what researchers call response caution, meaning you stop second-guessing yourself and simultaneously accelerates how fast you process information. Your brain doesn't measure raw distance, it calculates the fraction of distance remaining. If you frame that remaining fraction as being smaller, you automatically trigger the acceleration gear. Once you understand how this mechanism operates, you can stop trying to force yourself to feel motivated and start manipulating the gradient of your environment. The first step is endowed progress. Give yourself a free head start to artificially shrink the denominator of your goal. If you want to read 12 books this year, don't start at 0 in January. Count the 3 you finished at the end of last year. You are already in motion, which increases the pull of the gradient. The second step is milestone chunking. Looking at a massive year-long project kills your momentum because the finish line is too far away to trigger your reward circuitry. You have to chop it down into tight, immediate sub-goals, like finishing Chapter 4 by Friday, so the acceleration curve resets again and again. The third step is visible progress. The engine needs fuel, and you cannot burn it in the dark. You have to use a physical tracker, whether that is moving marbles between jars or marking large X's on a wall calendar. Using these tactics is not a form of self-deception. It is simply the required architectural framing you need to feed your brain the specific proximity signals it responds to. This chart shows a critical vulnerability in the system. Motivation does not stay high once you hit a milestone. There is an immediate drop in effort into a trough before your momentum slowly begins climbing toward the next reward. To keep your engine from stalling in that trough, you have to design and visualize your next milestone before you actually cross the current one. The biology governing your attention and energy points to one clear truth. Your brain was never built to start things. It was built exclusively to finish them. Stop fighting your natural wiring. Engineer your daily life so you are always almost done with something small, and let the gradient pull you across the line. The momentum to succeed is already wired into you. You just have to give it a visible target. Drop a comment below with the habit you are going to re-engineer, and make sure to subscribe for more breakdowns of the invisible mechanics shaping your behavior. Thanks for watching.